some reason.
Yes.
But guys, we are back and we are back.
We're back and we're better and we're banging.
So welcome back to another episode of
Girls Glasses God Podcast.
Woo! I didn't hear myself.
Me too.
That was way too much. Woo.
And you guys are probably wondering, why is there a male voice here?
Wow.
Why is there a male specimen?
Who is this person?
Like, what's going on?
You guys make me sound like I'm Adam. It's just like,
like, where did this person emerge from? Anyway, we have a guest in the house today. Woo, woo,
Hey.
This is you're actually our first guest ever on
look
this.
at God.
You should pay us.
Look at
Kachi.
God.
You should pay us for this, like,
For real, like we're for giving you
exposure.
publicity.
First
for,
of all,
you know,
I'm a
exposure.
European, so pause. Like, I
where?
came all the way from Europe.
But
Georgia,
that does not make you-
Tbilisi,
that doesn't
Georgia,
make you-
Europe.
It doesn't
For
change
this
it.
podcast, did you pay for my flight?
No, the thing about it is that when you are still up and coming,
Oh my God.
like you do all those expenses on your own, what we are paying you is in exposure.
Right.
Sorry, what are you
So you
exposing
don't
me
know,
to?
we are exposing you to
you don't
the
know who will
world.
see this video and it's like, oh my God,
They'll
I
be
want that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
This exposure better pay my rent.
All right, guys. So we have
Anyway.
somebody new. Kachi, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Kachi. Everyone
Okay.
calls me Kachi. Some people call me Onyeka, like this lady right here for some weird reason.
I'm always like, oh yeah, Kachi will take like 2 seconds to boot. Like,
I'm like, what are you calling? Oh yeah, I'm Kachi. I am a final year medical student.
a student is in our midst.
As in,
Soon to be a doctor.
As in-
Soon to be a doctor in a couple of weeks.
We're counting down.
We're counting down. But yes, I am happy to be here, seeing my old friends. I'm sure we'll get into the gist later on.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy to be here with my friends. I haven't seen them in about 7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just great to be here. The vibe has been amazing so far in Atlanta. So yeah.
The vibe
it's been
is
good.
always
is
top
having
notch.
the best time of his life.
I don't know
The
how
best time he has ever had in his life.
Ever had
They
He's
have
in the
having
whole
this
of his
themselves.
life.
He's
That's
having
the
it here in
truth.
Atlanta. Kachi has never had a
Kachi,
good
you're
time like
welcome.
this before.
You're welcome.
So,
Like,
Thank you guys. It's really nice to see you guys. Like it's so nostalgic. Like we're sitting together and
Yeah.
like doing something together. It's been like a really long time.
I can't stop smiling.
why?
Kachi is being very emotional.
Really?
Yes.
This is not
You've
me.
been emotional.
This is not me being emotional.
Maybe 2
But
seconds
I'm
and
just
Kachi will
being,
start crying.
honestly, I'm
That,
like
that
3
would actually
seconds.
be very fun to see.
That would be. I'm sure
Kachi
towards the
cry, I'll
end.
start laughing at him.
I'm sure towards the end of this episode, we'll be like, okay, now we're calling the end. I will just start bawling. Please cut the camera.
Oh
Cry,
my, that's what we
good.
use on our reels. I say that.
True though, that would
Cry.
attract so
An
many
emotional
people.
episode
Oh my God, that's
times the times.
That's a fantastic title.
An emotional episode.
Oh my God! But welcome, Kachi. It's good to have you.
It's good
You
to
have
be
to
here.
drag him. Like you have to be on this episode. Well, you have to be on this podcast.
I mean,
before-
initially we planned on recording this. That was last week,
Yeah.
Saturday. Oh no, Monday.
Monday.
So on Monday, Labor
this
Day.
week's Monday,
So this week
actually.
Monday, Labor Day. But as God will have it, we were having too much fun at Centennial Perennial Park.
Centennial Olympic Park. Kachi is a perennial park.
I don't know, but yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. So, but here we are.
We made it and we are
made
here.
it. We did it,
You
Joe.
say, Mama, we made it.
So guys, we hope you're happy to see us back. How was your week? Or what did you do this week?
What have you been up to?
Okay,
Recently.
this week was really fun. First, I mean, I saw you guys on Monday, and then we went out to a couple of places.
Yeah.
It was really exciting.
The best memories
best,
that you
like, the
made in a
best,
very
what's it
long
called,
time.
touristy
The best
stuff.
experience.
We did
that
a whole lot.
have ever happened
I
in
told
Kachi's
them
life.
I want to do touristy stuff.
Is
and
where it was
they showed
with
out.
us.
They showed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was,
Showed up
that was
and we
really
showed out.
good. I had some like documentation to do, and then today we went to the world of Coca-Cola.
Nice.
I call it the Coca-Cola factory. Coca-Cola fan by the way. But yeah, that's so that
Kachi
was
got
fun.
a cup as well.
I
Very
got
cute.
a cup. Yes. Yeah. But that was it. That was my
The ticket was called Adult with Cup.
Adults with cup.
But a lot has happened. I don't remember what the last time we
Travel to New Orleans.
I think we've talked about the travel to New Orleans.
Oh.
I traveled to Indiana.
Oh, okay.
I've traveled to Indiana. I have started my job. I don't know if I started my job the last time we started the podcast.
No, you haven't.
And I've also moved. Like I also
You moved houses, a lot
I've
has
moved
happened.
houses. I'm furnishing my house. If you want to help me furnish my house,
By doing what? Like giving you
to my
money
If the Lord is laying it to your heart.
to dash you.
I don't have a
to
couch.
to
Thank
sort
you,
the couch.
thank you.
You're very surprised the kind of couch we get. Be careful what you wish for. Or be
We don't want
specific.
bed bugs in the couch.
Be specific about what you want.
I want a very expensive couch.
Wow.
$5,000 couch.
Like
Okay.
a massage.
And I want a big TV. Yeah, I want like a 100 inches TV. Even if I don't have the space in my house, it doesn't matter. It's not your business. So yeah, I've moved. I started my job. I've traveled. I'm working. Like, I've been doing a lot of orientation. It's been nice meeting people, like joining the company and seeing like different people. People have been reaching out and they've been so warm and kind to me. So that's exciting. I'm really grateful to God for the opportunity and, just grateful to God all around. And this last week, I think I moved into a new phase of like my project, I would say. So I'm still learning. I'm learning some new stuff. And I feel like the me of the next year. Hey, God.
Okay.
Hey,
He's
God.
loading.
Hey, buddy.
Buy from where now?
Buddy.
Well, the me of next year is going to be
my
somebody
God.
completely different and, somebody that has gone further than where I
Someone
currently am.
that's grown.
Somebody that has grown. Thank you. So, yeah, that's me. That's my
That's
catch
That's
up.
been what you've been up
That's
to.
what I've been up to. Like, I've been up to a lot of stuff. Don't forget my couch, please. So, yeah,
my
Ebun, what
God.
have you been up to?
A lot though.
Mm.
I think we've recorded after the New Orleans, so
We
think
have,
that's
we
fine.
have.
But I think it's been work. I've gone to different places. I've
Yeah,
gone
but it's
to
a travel.
Chattanooga. I've gone to Nashville. I've gone to Denver. I've gone to Boston.
Okay,
Please
Moses.
give
Oh
us
yeah, by
money.
the way, like
Please give us
Tunchi's
money.
mom was
Oh,
around.
We went to Boston.
So we were in Boston like 2 weeks
yes.
back for an engagement ceremony of one
Wedding.
of their
Oh,
relatives.
yeah,
It's an
yeah,
engagement
yeah,
ceremony
yeah.
of one of their. So yeah, it was really cool seeing Tunchi's mom, his sister, and
There
the
was
family
small chops at the
members.
wedding. No, I
Like,
have to call it out. There was good small
God
chops
knows
at
when
that
that
wedding.
vlog will come out.
Ebun,
I
please.
vlogged, but see, people of God.
And we vlogged this entire week.
It's
That
been
we went
it's been very busy for me. Don't worry, the day will
The vlog will
come.
come out in December.
The day will come.
2026.
when I release 2026.
When you have a vlog that
when
came
I
out this
release-
year from how many years ago did you record the
I don't
video?
even know. When I release those vlogs, don't worry, it's gonna be back to back.
Oh,
but
shit.
be on the lookout. So yeah, I've been like in a lot of places. I've been to Los Angeles.
Ebun is
I've been
a
to-
traveler.
I've been to a lot of places after that, but yeah, it's been a great time. I think it's good to be finally sitting down again to record. Hopefully,
Yeah, we can
record
get the
more
ball rolling
episodes.
on more episodes. Yeah.
But I think Kachi gingered this one because he was around and we're like,
Hey.
you gotta be here.
Catch the ginger.
Like, you have
Catch
to
the
be
ginger.
here.
Catch the ginger. Hey.
Okay, so in case you're wondering what this episode is all about, as you heard Kachi mention something earlier. He said he's a student,
A student is in our midst.
and we were students together many years back. So the whole gist of this episode is how one person has been studying for the past 11 years.
Kachi is
guys.
still a student.
that's
Like no
wild.
break.
Kachi
Like,
is almost.
you know how people will say, let me
gap
get
year.
work experience and then do my master.
Kachi has been studying. Kachi
in
likes book.
school for 11
If there's anybody
years.
that likes book, this is him.
Hey.
This is him.
It's wild.
In fact,
Because
I
think
know what
like
the poster
books
of
so
our
much.
YouTube will be. If anybody likes book.
Please don't put that as a thumbnail, I beg you.
No, Kachi likes book, obviously.
But yeah, like I think it's been a wild experience. But I think if we let's circle back to so if you guys are wondering how we met, how we
Yeah,
met
I
each
think we
other.
should-
Let's circle back.
Yeah, let's run this back.
Yeah, let's start from how we actually met. Like, how did we meet?
Okay, so we all went to the same university for our first degree. We studied, believe it or not, these human beings were in the College of Medicine, Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences.
That's true. Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences.
We all wanted to be doctors. By the way, I'm just putting that out there as a disclaimer. We all wanted to be doctors. So we were all in University of Ibadan studying first and the best. Shout out. We're studying human physiology at the time. That's where we met. I mean, at the time, in 100 level, like our first year, we kind of knew each other, but it was like from a distance.
Yeah, it was very. We're not even rolling with
We're
ourselves.
not really rolling with ourselves,
Yeah.
but we just knew that we all existed.
We're all classmates,
We're
yeah.
all classmates at the time.
Yeah.
But I think like 200 level was when we trauma bonded. Yeah. So I will tell my side of the story, and then they will tell their side of the story. So we wanted
But
to.
actually, wait. Let me actually pause it because I
Okay.
think even before 200 level, we already started getting close. In
So that was the second semester
of 100 level.
We
But-
started
but
knowing
not-
each other, but
We
we're
knew-
not close.
Exactly, we were not close. Because I know you, if it was like the
Yeah, we're the really
CBN,
close ones.
CBN.
And
No,
Ogochukwu,
if it contested for CBN
And if
governor,
they did not win,
but
because
no,
he did not
nobody
win.
liked it.
Then
Nobody
he became
liked it at that
faculty faculty rep. If you remember,
Was it faculty rep
he
or
was
was it
faculty
Dami?
because I was class rep. Then he was faculty
Okay, I
rep.
think Efe wanted to be class rep too at one point, but nobody.
No, he want, not class rep. He wanted to be like the
He wanted to
whole
be class
CBN
rep. CBN governor.
Okay.
At first, he started with
CBN
class rep. He wanted to be class rep, and then
nobody
nobody
gave him-
voted him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he wanted to be class
Then I was
rep.
then class rep, 100 level.
you
Okay,
were
it's
class
true.
Then
rep.
he then ran for CBN governor. No one voted.
People were like, who is this guy? Who is this
Don't
boy?
like-
Because nobody liked because he was always being extra.
He was
always
very
standing
extra.
up. Everyone was short.
Oh my
Efe
god.
would now walk-
By the way,
walk back.
like RIP to Efe. He's no
Yes,
more.
we
and
love you,
It's
we
just
miss
a very
you.
sad thing, but
And then that was when he then contested for like faculty rep. So he then became faculty rep at I think 100 level second semester.
I don't remember that.
So he
actually.
was faculty rep, and why he was faculty rep, plot twist, was because he did not have any position and he wanted to have a position. So he somehow spoke to I think zoology teacher or chemistry teacher and said, "Oh, I'm the faculty rep for basic medical sciences."
That's very
Just
Efe.
so that
Because
every
I'm like,
single one
I
of us
don't
could report
remember
to him.
That's
I
very
don't
on brand
remember
for him.
somebody as like the
Yeah, he
faculty rep in
was
100 level.
faculty rep.
That's very on brand for Efe.
And then he became the head of the planning committee for CBN dinner, if you remember.
I
So
remember
that
that
was
one.
when
Okay.
around that time we all now started knowing each other, kind of.
Kind of. I feel like we used to walk to class together. We used to walk because I remember I still have
No.
some pictures.
From,
Maybe from,
Not
but
from,
not to.
not to from.
No, not
Did we
100
have
level
all
because
our
I remember
classes in CBN?
We
most-
had
most
most of
of
our
the
classes.
classes in
But
CBN.
I think it was after the 6-month strike. We started being very.
yes, so we started knowing
don't
each
even
other.
remember that
I remember
because
us having. I
we all
remember us
had
walking
we all
together.
had roommates or like maybe
Like
that
people
were
that,
from
yeah,
other
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
were
yeah.
from other like
Okay.
departments that we used to work together. So
Yeah.
I never
I think it
we
was
ever-
from. I think it was from, but that was like later on towards
I
the
don't even
semester.
think we ever
Because I
had
remember
that.
a picture I showed Ore, another one of our friends, and we were walking to class together to CBN.
Was it in 100 level?
Yes.
It was 100
I remember
levels.
See
one
that
particular.
picture.
I
I
remember
looked
one
so
particular
tiny.
picture.
I like to see that picture.
I'll show you the picture.
It was in 200 level that
200
everybody
Everybody
came
became
together.
close, yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
100 level, we were not.
We were very
not close.
scattered. Everybody was
For
working with
for
different.
international audience, like 100 level is first year, and
That's
like
true.
200 level
Yeah.
is like second year. But we just call it
That's like-
levels in Nigeria.
That's true, actually.
Thank you, Kachi.
Because we've been saying 100 at 200 levels.
It was like, who was 100
What's
level?
100 level?
Okay, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
go on, Kachi.
So like in our second year, that was when we had so we started second year. I think a month into second year, we all wanted to transfer to medicine. I wanted to transfer into medicine because you could transfer, and then there was like a cutoff mark and stuff like that. And the rest of them wanted to transfer. Amanda wanted to transfer to medicine. Everyone wanted to do dentistry. I think we all read too.
Yeah, right.
Dentistry, and then every other person wanted to do medicine.
Yeah.
So we're just vibing, carrying each other
Lolly-gagging.
along, going to photocopy documents, going to submit documents together. I think that brought us close because we started attending like classes for medical
Yeah.
students at the time.
Yeah.
And we abandoned our original class.
I advise you never do that.
I mean, it worked for some people.
I mean,
it just didn't work for us.
It didn't just
Yeah.
work for us,
Yeah.
but the good thing was like there was no knowledge lost.
Yeah,
because we still
I
did
agree.
like the courses
I
that
agree.
we still did anatomy. And we still did biochemistry
Yeah.
and physio. So it was
Besides,
not like
that
we
was
lost
like
out.
even the beginning. Like it was not
Yeah,
like
it was
We're
still
not
early.
deep into. We're not deep
yeah,
into.
we're
Like,
not deep
early.
into
second week, third week of resumption. Plot twist. Yeah, they rejected us. You know the way they discarded Jesus as the cornerstone.
He rejected.
I'm sure they were like, who rejected you?
Oh, okay. So like you submit to the College of Medicine, like you submit your
But
documents.
the application was rejected.
The application was
basically,
rejected
to transfer
from
from
physiology
directly
to
from
med-
human physiology to the medical
But
school.
you're saying the application was rejected. Did they not still reject us? Is that
But
what
when-
Yeah. But like somebody is just like, oh, who
Who is the
rejected
reject?
you?
Yeah. So
Okay,
the
yeah.
College of Medicine, but that's Faculty of Clinical Sciences.
Yeah.
So that's where medicine.
Yeah, was
medicine
sitting.
was.
Yeah.
We were in basic medical sciences. They rejected us on my birthday.
It was like a perfect birthday.
That was a birthday gift. And you know what we did? We took ourselves after we've consoled ourselves and cried.
Yeah.
We went to the movies to
I think
watch.
we were even laughing.
We were laughing at that. No, the cry came after we watched
were laughing.
Blended.
Who cried?
Nobody cried there. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no!
We
Please,
were laughing.
Who cried?
Please, people cry.
Who cried?
Tiana cried. I can never forget.
Tiana cried.
Tiana cried. Tiana cried.
Who else cried?
It was when we now started laughing. Then she started laughing because I think she went in after we had already come out, or she went in before us. One of that. And I think I remember why she cried because Shadi was accepted also at the time, and that was going to separate both of them. temporarily.
I don't have a memory of anybody crying, but
I remember people laughing.
We laughed at the beginning because the rest of us were laughing. We didn't want to believe it.
The first time I got a hint that they were going to reject our application, I think Good Luck went before some of us, and Good Luck did not come back with our paper.
Yeah.
Then the rest of us, we came back with our paper,
and we're like,
I was
what's
like,
going
where's
on?
your paper? I was like, what's happening? And then from there,
that's true.
I mean, mine was painful. Because I was just by 0.1 away from the cutoff mark, like 0.1. It was just painful because anyway, God has a plan for everyone.
Long story short, we did not transfer from human physiology to medical school, and then we saw a movie, and from there
we went to eat
all of
amala.
us started we just bonded, and then we just became. I don't want to say a clique, but like a group of friends.
We were a clique, kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, not like in the
like
bad
a friend group.
sense. Like we became a friend group.
Yeah.
So we basically did everything together. Like we studied together. We,
heavy on that study part because
heavy.
That was what was keeping us together at that point.
At that point, because we were doing like 13 courses or 12 courses in that semester.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Very weird classes
in different locations of the university, and our university is like quite big.
Really big.
It's really big. So, but that kept us times like we would go to the cafeteria and like study till like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning or 5 a.m. whenever they open the hostel. Then we'll walk the girls to their hostel, and then we'll have to walk all the way back and stuff. But that kept us. I think at first it was just the books, like the studying parts and like the trauma. And then with time we began to like know each other and
began to have fun.
We had our own group chat.
It had our own jokes.
We had our inside jokes, and the entire class they wanted to be a part of the inside joke.
Not you saying the entire class. Who thought the entire class?
The entire class. The entire class.
I'm got something for you, Kachi.
Somebody in the class is like, who knew you people? Who knew you guys?
Fight me.
Everybody was there living their life.
Everybody was living their life. Nobody cared, honestly.
And in between this time, Kachi lost his class rep position.
I didn't use it. I dropped
you gave it up.
I dropped it. Because I was like, no, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So
you couldn't have, if you had gotten transferred, you wouldn't have been able to be class rep. So somebody else stepped in. Yeah.
So I gave it up at the time. Oh, and then also during that period, they stole my laptop.
Like, who stole your laptop?
They stole my laptop. Like, literally like a week after we got rejected us.
They
stole my laptop. I was like, you know what? The universe is conspiring. The weapon that was formed, it looks like they're about to prosper. So, but anyway, we kind of survived. We're celebrating our birthdays together.
Yeah,
we do like combined monthly birthday.
I think April and May were like
always the latest. Like,
no, you know,
April
June we had the largest amount of people
you
on the
guys
group.
had the does not mean that you had most fun.
We did have the most fun, please. We had a photo shoot.
Was fun.
We even had a photo shoot on June's birthday.
But that was the only thing you guys did.
And we had a picnic.
April was when we went to Domino's Pizza.
May was picnic.
Agodi Gardens.
We had
June did not do
we
anything.
did something. I remember the June baby's cake with the 2 tiny babies.
We just had a picnic.
We had a picnic.
Who did the June baby? I remember.
So it was me, Olamide, Chisom, Omo.
So who did that cake?
I can't remember. I think it was Olamide.
I remember that cake actually.
But you remember? The two babies.
Because I wrote a poem.
Oh yeah, you wrote a poem. Do you even have it?
I think I still have it.
We used to be part of a spoken word group.
Do you know?
God, there's so many things we've done.
Yeah. College was awesome.
Anyway, it was fun. And we got close, I think. And then we graduated in 2016.
Officially.
2016, because December 2016.
But because school does not do graduation until November,
we did the ceremony the
2017 November. We had already started our youth service, so that's like a paramilitary service that we do. So we started that in 2017.
Paramilitary.
I mean, it is paramilitary. That's what they call it.
You're climbing
trees. But yeah. So this is the plot. Now let's start with Ebun.
But you know this podcast, this is about you.
No, but this is what I want to say.
Yeah.
In our last year, Ebun decided, well, I don't think dentistry is for me anymore. And Ebun went to take the ICANN exam, so it's the Chartered Accountant exam. My mom was a Chartered Accountant, and I was telling my mom that, hey, I remember, I think I told you, because my mom was working for ICANN at the time when you were taking your exams. I remember telling my mom that, hey, Ebun is writing this exam and we're in our final year, and my mom was just in awe, like, how is this girl writing ICANN exams, like, and she's also like final year, writing final year exams, because ICANN exams are like not easy at all. So that was when we knew that Ebun was not following the same path.
Was left the path
Because
at that time a lot of us were still like, oh, we are
medicine.
going back to do medicine.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that people had like reservations about was the whole, oh, when I finish med school I'm going to be 20 this, so I'm going to be 20
and
that.
also where did they want to do medicine?
I think it was more of
where that was the
not
biggest
like how
issue,
old. It was
because
like
people didn't want to stay back in Nigeria to do medicine.
Yeah.
And I think another problem that some people also had was the fact that if you now come back and do it in UI,
Exactly.
like
Your juniors,
you will not be the same
class
class
with
with them
them.
and everything.
Because if you come back to do it, then it's like you're going back to, I think,
200
level.
level direct entry, yeah.
But I mean, it's the same way they do it here, right? In the United States, it's like you do a 4-year BSc course, and then you now write MCAT before you go to medical
school for 4 years.
So it's still almost the same timeline.
But that's if you are thinking about the US timeline. But if you're in Nigeria, you're not
No,
thinking
I'm saying
that.
like if like comparing it to a US like that's
so
like
that
no.
means in the US
that's
you can't
the norm.
enter
No,
directly.
You can't enter medicine directly.
Okay.
You have
So
to
it's
do
like you do maybe chemistry,
something
biology,
in science, faculty of science or whatever.
So
Before.
like
then-
you have backup in case it does not work out for you. I think
Yeah,
that's
the
why
reasoning.
that's why
Yeah.
you do like that's why you do a BSc.
Because getting to medical school here, like in the
It's-
States,
yeah,
is
it's not the
really hard.
easiest
It's really
thing,
hard.
yeah.
Shout out to all you guys who are medical students.
And that's why we have people like Kachi that 11 years later they're still studying.
But the thing, see, here's the thing, like I thought I was not going to be the only one, because at the time,
But you're not the only one.
no, like I mean
we're
in our
not
friend
as
group,
much as
Okay,
like in our friend
okay.
group, not our
Well,
class.
But you were not the only one.
It was
too.
you and Ife.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was me, Ife.
If it
So at the time, you still wanted to do medicine. You were
Yeah.
still considering
At
it.
400 level, were you still considering medicine?
in a little,
Yes, because I remember we had a
because
conversation.
It was more after NYSC that
NYC
was like,
that year, because we had a conversation
you
about
had
this
the plan to
medicine
go
thing.
back?
that was my own conflict,
'Cause
like the
that
whole
never came
going
up.
back. So it wasn't
Lebechi wanted to
Lebechi
still,
wanted to
still
go.
do
Yeah.
medicine.
Yeah, I
Ore
remember
still
Ore
wanted
Lebechi.
still wanted to do
Ore,
medicine.
Ore, yeah.
Then Ife and myself, so we were like 5, and our group is large, by the way, like 26.
That's just exaggerated.
Maybe we are 12
We're 12.
max.
We're 12
Are we
max.
12?
Yeah, we're 12. We're 12.
Like now the
No,
current
minus
one.
the new additions like
minus the
Edwin,
new additions.
Chinedu. No, Edwin and
We are
Chinedu.
announcing them.
Yeah. Hi guys. Hello.
We have people
Oh God, let's
later on added to our group.
Let's
Okay,
wrap
okay.
it up.
We are
We are just moving
Yes,
in
yes,
circles
yes.
and people
Okay.
don't know who these guys are.
Fact. But at the end of the day, bottom line, they all disappointed me. So it was just Ife and I that then went back to study medicine. So here I am, 11 years later,
Still studying medicine.
still studying medicine.
Oh my God.
Well, Kachi, question for you. Obviously, I know you personally, but question just in like a general sense of our listeners. If you had the opportunity to do it again, knowing that 11 years later, after you entered school the
Will
first
you?
time, you will still be doing medicine. And I know you can see the end in sight now because it's like 6 weeks away. But like, if you had the chance to think it over and do it again, do you think you follow the
exact
same
same way.
path? The exact same way, exactly.
Okay, I will still do medicine. I will still do medicine, but I won't follow this exact same path I took. Because the thing is that when you're in Nigeria, you don't have, I mean, you do have information, but you do not have as much information as, or clarity as you would need, because the information you get in Nigeria is just kind of like bits and pieces. When you then leave Nigeria, then you realize, oh, there are 1,001 options in
So,
terms of
let me
the
pause
pathway.
you there. Let's say, for example, everything was still the same up until when you got into for human physiology, and now you have all this
Okay.
information. Now, would you rather drop out, like knowing that okay, you don't want to do this, you want to do medicine,
I'll
or would
drop
you
out.
have gone out like to a different school,
no.
like outside the country? I mean?
Okay, all the experiences and friendships aside, right? What I would have done with everything I know today, I'll drop out of human physiology, either go to the States, do a 4-year program, do medicine, because I do want to practice in
The
the
States
States.
it's not cheap though.
Yes, it's not cheap. We'll get to that. But there are, like, once you start from a 4-year program, it's easier with the MCAT and everything. Even before then, it's easier for you to then start applying for scholarships, even before you get into med school.
But you already have 4 years.
Yeah,
of
we'll figure it
undergrad.
out.
So no,
But
but
also,
can't you also do? So maybe this is like lack of
So
information.
that-
but
that's
if you
like
do 4
US,
years
if I
in
don't do US,
Nigeria,
yeah.
can't you write the MCAT and now come and do med school in the US?
yes, you can. But MCAT is brutal.
Yeah.
like MCAT is brutal.
Especially
I'm
when
pretty
you
sure
don't
Especially
even
when you do not
have
study.
the United
okay.
States context.
That makes sense.
Because I did consider it. I genuinely considered schooling in the States, and I got the information about the MCAT. I went to like some university fairs and all of that. And when I actually even started studying for the MCAT at the time, and it looked like Spanish to me. So I was like, okay, I need to find another route. Another thing I would do differently is, even if I most likely will not complete physiology, or I would have left in my first year, gone to Europe like where I'm studying now, finish up my 6 years there, and then do a master's program.
So in Europe, you can do direct medical school?
Yeah, from high school. Yeah, you can.
So when you came out of physio, what was your journey like on the island and in Europe? Did you have to go back, or like,
no?
What
So I
like?
started. So the island has the same system as the States. So it's just 4 years.
So did you write an exam?
I did not need to write an exam. I did have to write like personal statement and all of that. And then they had to review my transcript to see if I was like eligible to.
So you were admitted directly into medical school?
I was admitted, yes. So
So
I didn't go to pre-med. I didn't go to pre-med.
So for medical school now, this medical school now, how many years is it?
4 years.
So you're admitted into like the first year of medical school?
Yes,
of the
first
4
year
years of medical school.
of medical school. It was a journey.
So tell us why. Okay, obviously you did 4 years in undergrad. That's 4 years. But now this is 7 years later. So tell us what happened in that 7 years period of time.
Okay, so first youth service, the paramilitary, whatever.
So that's
God. But before then, I was working for an NGO. I don't think you guys remember this, but I moved out. Yes, so I moved out of my parents' place. I think a month after graduation, I moved in with one of our classmates.
Who, Rona?
No, Yemi.
you are okay. It's really
Yes.
close
That's
one kind that
true.
time.
Yeah. So I moved in with Yemi. Yemi was
How far,
working for
Yemi?
a lab. Hi, Yemi. Yemi was working for a lab.
Just here throwing names out
Man,
there.
throwing names. Like,
They'll just come back copyright now. Just give us this and this is okay.
but Yemi was working for a lab at the time, and I was working for like an NGO. Then after that was when we went for service. After service, while we were in service, I already got my admission because I was processing everything at the time.
That's the one on the island.
Yeah, on the island. So I went to the island immediately after service, actually. I think a month after service. I went to the island in 2018. I was there till 2020. Then the pandemic happened. Things happened, which for reasons I would not call the school or whatever happened. It was not financially feasible for a lot of people to continue.
Okay.
Like especially like with the pandemic, so I needed to look for a place that was really good but also better, like and stable financially. So I then moved to a school in Eastern Europe, Georgia. So during those 4 years, it was basically me just completing, like, for lack of a better word, what I had already started in like the Caribbean. So here we are.
Yeah, here we are. And I think I just remembered one thing I was going to say now. Because if somebody is listening to like the trajectory of like your studying life and your school life and what you hope to be like as a doctor now, you had a lot of starting over. Right?
Yes.
So what would you say about like having the courage to start over? Because it's not the easiest thing. A lot of the reasons why a lot of our classmates didn't go back for maybe med school or whatever was
same fear of starting
over and doing all of that again. So what would you say? Because now you've done it like twice. So what kind of advice will you give to somebody that is thinking, you know what, I don't think I'm on the right path, or I think I want to switch into this, or somebody that is in a very similar situation to yours? What kind of advice will you give them about starting over?
I think for everything, there's always like some sort of like fear and anxiety going into it, irrespective of if it's something that I know at the end of the day is going to be worth it or something I'm not sure of. There will always be a fear and anxiety of taking that first step.
Yeah.
And I think one of the first things, there are a couple of things that I think honestly are like really, really good factors into ensuring that you are able to do that perfectly well. Number one is being sure of what you want to do. Like even if you're not 100% sure,
like everybody
Sure.
knew.
I think Kachi was also very passionate about
Yeah.
So like being sure, and you don't even have to be 100% sure, but you just have to like know somewhere in your heart of hearts, like and I think that's where passion comes into play. Like this is what I want to do. Like when I look into my life, like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now, if I do not see myself doing that thing, and if I feel this huge sense of regret not doing it, then I have to do it. So like having that at the back of your head, because being 100% sure, honestly, I feel like you can never be 100% sure every single time. For me, I wasn't even 100% sure every time. I knew I wanted to do medicine, but at the same time, I had an offer to do my master's for free. And I also was conscious. I was like, maybe I should, but I looked into the future and I'm like, if I'm not a doctor, if I don't see myself doing the things I've always wanted to do as a doctor, that's one. Two, I think is having people around you who can like push you to do those things, either mentors or friends. Actually, most of you guys actually like pushed me, like encouraging me, like, oh yes, you can do it, go into medicine.
Even though you guys, if nobody wants to be a doctor, Kachi has to be a doctor.
And I think you were also very close to the guys in medical school already. So I think that was also like
another motivation.
Yes.
And I think it just boils down to the fact that sometimes if or when you want to do something, I think it's very important to look for people that are doing the same thing and like mix up with them, because it gives you like a lot of motivation. I feel like you just saw them, like you were with them, Chinedu, Edwin, and everybody.
What's this Bible verse that says people around you, something about if you walk with the wise, you'll be wise. No, that's not it per se, but there's a particular Bible verse that says that.
The one that comes to my head is do not sit in the
someone.
Because basically, like whoever it is that you surround yourself with,
they influence you. Yes.
Influence them in a way. And you're still close to those guys too. So obviously, I think that also. And then if it was also there, I think if it was also,
he was the major.
If he did the island one first, and I'm sure that had a major influence
because he was like, I'm not doing this part already. This NYSC thing, and he just left.
I feel like there's just something about you knowing what you want to do. And okay, so let me just put a caveat that it also happens sometimes that you also don't know what you want to do. Because again, Kachi probably knew that he wanted to be a doctor since they gave birth to him. But there are some people that
he came out with a scalpel in his hand.
Some people are even done with college and they still don't know what they want to do. And it does not mean that that you're not passionate or whatever. But I think it just means that you, just like what he said, you have to just look deeply and be like, in the next 10 years, like, what exactly do I want to be known for? Even if it's not holding a scalpel in my hand doing surgery or something, it has to be at least something. Maybe influencing people or like helping businesses like or something.
Somehow, even if you can't define it, you have like an idea. You have an idea. Like you have something in your head. But again, sometimes I feel like it's also fear that stops people from voicing out like, I think I want to become like that international.
But I also think like that's why I said like being around, like having friends and mentors and like this. Having that community is very important because if you have a safe space to like voice out that, hey, I want to go back and do this or I want to do this, and you have people will support you. So for instance, my thesis supervisor, I spoke to him and I said, I have this, I can do my master's for free. But going into medicine is going to cost me and my parents a lot. But I really want to do medicine and I love it. And he sat me down, and he is someone who has gone through the same route that I've gone through. He had his BSc first and then came back for medicine and then still did his master's and his PhD. So he was someone that had already gone through what I've gone through, and even through a harder route, like doing everything in Nigeria. So for me, I was just like fortunate to have someone like that, and then having friends where I could say, hey guys, I really want to do medicine, and they would support me even if they were not going through the same route, which was very hilarious to me, by the way.
Saying there's just something about saying what you want, like it goes a long way, because it's like if you ask any random person in 200, 300 or 400 level, what does Kachi want to do, everybody will tell you he wants to be a doctor. And I think it's something that we have to be conscious about. Like, a lot of times, if you ask me, what do you want to do? Sometimes I might have what I want to do in my mind, but I'm like,
let me not just say it out. Before somebody will come and read you.
But now I'm learning that, look, the more you actually say what you want, the more you get like referrals for something, or you get people to say, hey, like I've done this before, or like at least people know that this is what people have an idea. People have an idea of what you want to do. So anytime like something happened on, I think I was in the office recently, and then I was just having a chat with somebody, and then I was like, oh, like, what kind of projects would you like to do? And the person told me specifically something, like let's say healthcare, like I put hypothetically, and then I met somebody another time that says, oh, I'm actually looking for people in that specific thing, field, like in the space of less than 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, somebody just told me that she likes or she wants to be in this kind of project, and I'm like, have you talked to this person? Like, and that's because the person already told me. So if I've been telling you that I want to be this. If you hear anything or see anything that relates to that, the first thing that comes to mind is this. So I'm also learning to do that honestly, because again, I do not tell people any, like, I do not like telling people a lot of stuff.
I think in a way, again, is also in just what you're saying about you don't tell people a lot of stuff. I feel like it's also like culturally, like how we're brought up in Nigeria.
Yes,
if you think
110%.
like, there's a cultural thing. Just like how we and everyone went for an event yesterday, and somebody was saying there's nothing like enemies, right?
Yeah.
Because any small thing, like from my village people, from my enemies,
yes.
my enemies.
I did have that. Sorry, I did have that problem. Even when I wanted to do medicine, I had my parents would be like, you just when I was like, be careful and stuff like that. And I don't know if you guys remember, you guys were like one of the first people I shared it with on the group chat when I got my admission letter. I posted on the group chat that guys have gotten admission into school and all that, which naturally, and for me, I think is because like I knew the people I surrounded myself with. And I knew that it was like number one, safe for me to share certain things, but also number two, I knew that these people are people that they have been riding for me and my dream like for the longest time, and also they have gone through certain struggles with me, so it felt easier and comfortable. And I think sometimes, like speaking about the fear, one of the things that is, if you have people around you who also keep things and they are very paranoid, and like I don't want to use like this because discretion is not really a bad thing, but let's say paranoid, for lack of better word. They're paranoid about either voicing their dreams or someone like Omo-Olorun says, like someone will ridicule you for saying that, or this. That's because you're not surrounding yourself with people that like are creating a safe space for you. It might not be always the case, but I think it gives you a reason to kind of reflect.
What if you know that this person cannot just do it?
Honestly, tell
like
them.
I know you.
Honestly, tell them.
So that makes me paranoid.
But really, can you honestly tell them?
That makes me paranoid.
Me personally, 110%.
No.
Let me tell you why.
But now you're killing their dream. That's it.
Here's the thing.
And who are you to say they can't do it?
That's where I'm coming. Are you
their maker? Are you their creator?
It's like, you know, a lot of people. It's like me saying, I don't know, I want to be
a pilot.
She can be a pilot. I can be anything. I can be. If you know me, you know I can be anything I want to be.
But you want to kill somebody's dream?
No.
A doctor.
But no.
Okay, do you want to go back to medical school now?
So like me coming to you and saying I want to go back to medical school.
I will laugh at your face.
I
mean, you can.
If I want to. I'm looking for an example of something that would be very ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I just need somebody to talk me out of it. And
like you want to maybe drop out of like quit from your work and become a clown at a carnival. That's the most ridiculous thing I can think about, because it is ridiculous. After all the money you're earning, that's like, I want to be a clown at the side of the road.
I would say, I want to chase my dream of, I don't know.
You want to be a rapper?
or a professional dancer.
Oh, please.
But you don't have to.
So wait. So if I actually tell you that I want to be a professional dancer, and I'm genuinely serious about it.
You can't be genuinely
I
serious
will buy that cast.
But you're killing my dream.
Okay,
That dream has to die.
But here's the thing. When I say I would tell them, I think this is what I mean. If someone comes to me and says, I want to do this, and I've noticed like a pattern with them, and like, this is not something I know for a fact, or I think they would not be able to do well. Two things. I would tell them like, hey, I think that this is not for you, or I think that this might not work out for you, and I know you think it might work out now, but I need you to like go back and think properly about it. Like,
have you ever had that conversation with someone before?
Multiple people.
Oh really?
Yes.
What did they tell you? They want to be a doctor?
No, that like, okay, so there are people that they want to drop out of medical school into something else that is very, very ridiculous, that they don't even have the work ethic for, because medicine is not about smart. I mean,
I would have actually thought it's the other way around.
Medicine is not about smartness. A good number of times about like work ethic. How hardworking are you? Like there's an element of being smart. There's an element of being smart, but not every good doctor.
So if they don't have the work ethic to be doctors, how can they have the work ethic?
Do you get my point? So is
that what you're trying to say?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't have the work ethic. Like, there's this hard work that goes into medicine. There's this discipline. I think that's what I'm looking for. There's this discipline that goes into medicine, and sometimes it rubs off on other things that you get to do. It's just like growing up. They would always say, I don't know for you guys, but like my church, they would say like, oh, if you're in the choir, there's a discipline that you learn, and you can carry it into other things. I mean, for me, that's what happened for me. And you're like, oh, I want to do A, B, C, D, E, for instance. and you're not even disciplined enough to even work on that A, B, C, D, E you want to go into, or you just don't even have it. You just don't have it.
I think
that's weird though. Like,
what I would tell you is like, hey, go back, like research on this thing, think about it properly. This is what I think.
Sorry.
This is what I think. Can you handle this? This. If you cannot handle it, I do not think you should do it.
I don't think I've ever had that conversation with someone before. I think
it's
what I would just say is
able to.
I mean,
why?
I can't tell you.
I
can't do it.
I can't tell you that.
What I would do though
I
is I would
ask
tell you
questions.
I would tell you what it entails to be that thing, right? Like I'll be like, oh, before you can be this. Like sometimes people call me and say, oh, I want to be in the MBA program. Yeah, anybody can be in the MBA program, but
it takes a lot.
It takes a lot of things. So I will highlight.
I won't tell you directly.
Number one, you have this. Number two, are you ready to do this? Number three, do you want to do this?
No, because
so when and that's why I said like I would tell them to go and research like because the thing is. And also, I think it also depends on the relationship you have with that person. I just want to just say, that actually is a huge factor. Because if it's you guys, and you come and tell me,
I want to be a clown, we'll laugh in your face.
I will laugh in your face.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that you cannot. We will
You
pray.
will not.
You will not. In fact, we'll pray on your matter. You will kneel down and we'll bring out anointing oil and cast and bind that clown demon out of you.
Clown demon.
No, but if it's someone
What if that's the person's dream?
please,
I dream of being a clown.
But if it's someone like I'm an acquaintance with or I'm not like really, really close to, my first thing will always be, hey, go and research on this thing that you want to do and like what it entails to do that thing.
Yeah.
This is what I think personally. I think that A, B, C, D, E, but I don't have so much knowledge on this.
That's me.
I don't have so much knowledge, but go and now when the person does that research and does everything and they come back, and me most times I will also do my research to kind of find out like what's this thing, and then I'm a type of person like to break things down logically. I'll be like, okay, what are the pros and cons? Let's bring this. I will then guide them and then be like, so you see why I don't think you should do this. But at the end of the day, I will always put a caveat. Like a proper Nigerian. This is just my opinion.
In my opinion.
I can be wrong.
Personally.
And I might be wrong. And sometimes you can. And sometimes you can be wrong. And sometimes you can be wrong. Sometimes you can be wrong. So for me, I just think it's a disservice not to tell them if you honestly think. Of course, you don't have to be brash about it or rude about it and be like, no, I don't think you can. That's not what I mean. But I just mean like, as a good friend, it will be some sort of a disservice if you don't say, hey, this is what I think, and I might be wrong about it, but like I want you to just kind of dig deeper and find out if this stuff is for you.
And I think certain times as well, I think you also look to people's history. Well, like what have they done?
That's my point.
So just like what you were saying about the discipline to do this. So if you don't even feel like, so it's just like saying you want to, I don't know, maybe do something that involves, that is very intellectual, and we can't get you to sit down for 2 hours and read. So you know that, okay, are you sure you're ready to do this thing? Because what your life is showing right now, like what you've been showing, the president you've been showing is showing that this is not where your passion lies. Or maybe we can be wrong, but you've not shown any discipline to that effect yet.
And someone can say that, hey, maybe the reason why they're not disciplined to that particular thing they're doing that they hate now is because they hate it. But also, which is fine. But if I ask you, you should, however, like be disciplined on the thing that you want to do. So for instance, I love music, right? I've been doing music for like for as long as I can remember since they gave birth to me. But I also know like I've taken time out to like study stuff about music, like vocal classes, all that, being multiple choirs and all, right? Because I have an interest in that thing, I've dedicated certain time to it. Now, if let's say I'm a medical student and I say I want to go into dancing and I hate medicine, like I hate medicine so badly, but I'm not even dedicating time because I already hate the medicine. And let's say I'm not disciplined in it because I hate it, but I'm also not dedicating time towards the dance thing by the side, even if it's like 1 hour a day, 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day.
And even
like,
when they say you should dance, if you're
and when they say you should dance,
I mean, that's something that you can do on the side. What of someone that wants to do a career switch? Like,
yeah, even a career switch. Like for instance, when you wanted to do your career switch from physiology to like into business and accounting, you took time out to understand what this thing was. You
And
took
it
time
wasn't
out
an
to
immediate thing. You were doing it over years.
like over here. Like so that's the point. My point is like there's a certain level of discipline that would show. It has to show in. It doesn't have to even be in what you're doing, but it should show in one
something
aspect
else, yeah.
of your time. For me to, at least for me as an outsider,
Yeah.
to believe that hey, if you get into this thing, it's going to work. Even our classmates that hated, oh, we're not going to go into physiology. They were already doing stuff. In the background, like they were already. They had certain.
A lot of people were clueless.
Yeah.
So, but let's
A
not
lot
go
of
into
people
that.
were
Not a lot of them, but some of them already doing
Because,
stuff.
like,
Some of them already
people
like
came
thinking
out
of
of
entrepreneurship and stuff. Even in our class, by the time we got to 400 level,
But
a
no,
few people were
I
already
think by the time we got to
entrepreneurs.
400 level, people were entrepreneurs. But I feel like a lot of people had already said, because who was that professor that came up and was like, you guys are kidding yourself, blah, blah, blah,
that's
blah, blah.
more than
Because
most
when
of
we
you
think
will not be
about
doctors.
it, yeah, because when we think about it, it was also he was giving us a reality check, but we didn't realize it because he was giving the Nigerian factor into it. That
Okay, but he was rude also.
no, definitely
And
he
he
was
probably killed dreams.
And he probably
Probably
killed
killed
dreams.
Anyway, let's not go into circle and bundle up to this. Let's move away from the whole book stuff, smart stuff, and everything. How was life outside Nigeria for you? You've spent
Kachi,
all your life.
how many countries has Kachi lived in so far?
Okay,
now?
how many
I think
countries?
Dominican and
Okay,
Europe.
how many countries have I been in?
No,
lived
lived
in
in.
Dominica and like
Georgia. So,
Georgia,
You did not
Europe.
live in Nigeria.
No, like outside of Nigeria now.
Nigeria.
So after moving from like let's say you had a fee, and so that that created a kind of buffer, but still like
Yeah,
what
the buffer did. Let me tell you,
did not buffer.
It did not buff. No, okay.
so what was that like?
Okay, for me, I think there's a little bit of a cultural shift because of a few things. First, I was living in Nigeria and I was going to like be on my, of course I had Ife there, but I was going to be on my own. I had to like meet new people. I was leaving literally almost all my friends, so I had to start over.
But you don't
If
have
it was not in
problems
my
making
class.
friends, because I think we've talked about Kachi on this channel before. Kachi is the okay. So when one of my friends messaged me when I put you up on Instagram, I was like, "Oh, is this Kachi that we were talking about on your podcast?" I'm like, "Oh yes, it's the same Kachi, the same Kachi that when he gets everywhere, he's friend with the whole
He has become
whole
best
group.
friend. There's
The
nobody
same
that doesn't know
Kachi,
Kachi.
the same Kachi that people who study together. Kachi comes in message. Oh my god, I've not read anything. It's a lie.
No.
Kachi finished with a first class. Let's just be very clear. Kachi finished and he's the only one. He has never ever read anything in his entire life.
Kachi
Yeah,
has never read.
See,
he
here's
finished
the
with
thing.
the first class.
Personally, I have imposter syndrome. Honestly, I can read and I do not feel like
You've read anything?
I've read anything, and it still happens today in medicine. Like my classmates know me, like, and
So you
And
are
carry
still
that-
deceiving
carry
them.
that same energy.
no,
deceiving them.
I read with my guys. I have. For me, I have to read something like over and over and over and over and over again for me to be confident in it. If I don't feel confident in that thing, in my head it's
But
like
you're never confident. That's my issue.
So that's the thing. So
Actually, it's not
my
confident in the exam, and in the
classmates
exam, you
will tell
carry
me.
extra sheets.
My classmates will tell me like when we're complaining about exams and they were like, "Oh, Kachi, will we pass and whatever?" But I'm personally inside, I don't feel that way. Like I don't feel like I'm going to. Like I know I might not
Kachi, let me
fail.
pause you there.
I might
don't know
not
if you
feel-
remember one
yeah.
bike exam. That all of us knew that like, what happened in this exam? Kachi was lamenting with us. Kachi got like 80 something.
Okay,
that
let me
exam.
explain what happened in
People
that
are good.
exam.
Don't
Let me-
explain.
no,
Don't
no,
bother.
no, no,
It's too
that,
late.
that exam,
Tell
no, that exam was that exam. Honestly, was a
too
miracle
late.
because I don't think
Okay.
I've told
What was that
anybody.
pathway we used to do? What's
See,
that stupid pathway?
Yeah. Let me tell you guys because like why I'm saying that exam was a miracle because I think that was one of the first
So are you
miracles.
saying miracles did not happen?
No,
for us?
wait.
See, we'll just if we start this conversation, we won't leave here. Kachi, what was your life like after Nigeria?
Let me say that because I think like I don't think I've only told one person that particular exam when they gave us the question I only knew like one question correctly.
Kachi got 87.
They wanted us. Initially, we had already studied for glycolysis, and then they brought up Krebs cycle for that
87.
exam. That one, I just knew it. I didn't really know so much of
Kachi
it.
still got 87.
Then wait. The last
We need to
question.
emphasize it.
No, the last question
It's when
was
Kachi remember the
something.
questions. You know
Yeah,
Kachi's
I
smart.
can remember.
Like,
No,
what's it
no,
concern?
That's why I said. That's why I said it was a miracle because I remember vividly. Because that Krebs cycle, I did not study. I studied glycolysis, so I just wrote maybe like half a page or something. Now the last question, I wrote the topic of something different, entirely for that
Kachi, we're going to
question.
call for your results.
Please call for it. Honestly, I say up till today, when I saw that, I was so shocked because I was like, I was like, I don't know the last question. Screw it.
Kachi,
So I just wrote what I knew
results.
from a different topic, and I just wrote it. And when I saw the results, I knew that God had done something good.
God has
Kachi
done
was
it finally.
God was doing miracles for Kachi.
Finally.
God left me at Ebun.
My dear, because whatever I
God
had in that course.
God left me
God.
off.
Fend for yourself.
Is the trauma of all this biochemistry and anatomy that made me say, is this what I was be doing for 11 years of my
Fend
life?
for
God
yourself.
forbid. Let's move to business, baby.
I'll make some money.
I make some money, oh.
So you guys are living life.
How was your
the
life?
shift.
The shift.
I think the shift for me was like getting to meet new people, because I came into a class where people came straight from pre-med, so they already knew themselves, they already had friends.
Okay.
I was literally like the new kid in class, so and I resumed late also, so that did not even help anything. Food wise, I think adjusting just a little bit, although Caribbean food is like kind of similar to us. I mean, plantains and the regulars, but also like adjusting to that. And then I think another thing that was, this was a huge adjustment for me. There was a little bit of cultural difference actually.
In what way?
Of course, like Dominica specifically, like is filled up with like black folks, right? But at the same time, they have like different cultures. Like, so the way we will call someone like sir or ma, or even in class or whatever, you just call them by their name.
Yeah.
For me, it took a while for me to be able to do that and just like call my lecturers or call like people that I was working with at the time by their name, by their first name, because I could not do that normally. Yes, and also academically too, it was really different because the Nigerian style of academics.
I remember the first semester, Kachi was just like, whatever we did in this thing was not like. I remember him saying, but let's not watch right here.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I did not have as many cultural differences in Dominica as much as when I then went to Georgia, because Georgia is a predominantly Caucasian country. But my school is also like very international. We have like Indians and Arabs and like Sri Lankans and people from the UK. So you would get to like mingle with everyone and like learn about their cultures, their holidays, what they like, what they don't like.
When you're in school, do you like, what kind of school setting is it? Is it like where school like, and you just mingle with like just students or whatever, or like you have to like mingle with like people that are outside school? So like I'm saying, is your school like in a college town kind of place, or is it like in the city where you meet like regular people who are working?
You can mingle with people from outside your school, because most times. So we don't have hostels. I mean, apart from private hostels, like your university does not specifically have a hostel. Okay. So everyone lives in like in apartment complexes. So you would definitely have a neighbor from a different university, or you know a friend of a friend, and they always have like events and workshops and stuff like that bring people together. So you meet people, different people from there.
But Kachi, you also not been have you been back to Nigeria since you left?
Have you been back to Nigeria?
We haven't years. No, he left like 6 years.
6 years ago. I haven't been to Nigeria in 6 years.
Are you planning to go anytime soon?
How do I feel? I miss my parents, obviously my siblings. I miss my family. The thing is, like, most of my friends are no longer in Nigeria. That's the thing. Just like a few of them that are back in Nigeria, and even those few are planning to leave. So when I actually go back to visit, who am I going to go and see apart from my parents? I said apart from my parents.
Have your parents come to visit you?
No, they haven't. Okay. I mean, they might come for my graduation, which will be wonderful. I will cry the entire week. I will definitely cry the entire week. But yeah, I think it's hard. It's hard the first few years, first 1-2 years, and then
after a while,
I don't say you get used to it, because there are days that it will hit you like really hard, but I think you just learn to live with it. I think that's a better word. You learn to live with it.
Okay, that makes sense. Besides, like I'm sure you communicate constantly.
Video calls,
with your parents.
Calls, text. My parents are more of call people than text, which is actually really, really good, because I get to like hear their voice and so forth.
I think older people are
generally more call than text people,
because I don't even respond to them.
My dad texts me only when he wants gist, and then I call him to give him the gist.
Every chat that you see that my dad sends to me is busy. So I didn't even
Not the
respond.
BC. When that text about
just
how
like-
about gist text is Happy New Month.
Yeah.
See that Happy New Month, Happy New Week text. You are
they
getting
shake.
it. You are getting
You know
it.
they
But
shake.
you've not been in Nigeria now for the past 6 years. Do you think when you go back to Nigeria,
Let's
going
keep
to
that.
have-
Let's keep that as an if.
no, you never know.
So are you saying that you will never go back? You go now.
No, if there's when has a certainty that if does not have.
No. When? That means you can always
some
go
point.
At some point. Yeah, at some point.
Do you think you're going to find Nigeria? Obviously, you're going to find Nigeria different because it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
But do you think it's going to take you a while to adjust back to living back in Nigeria?
Is there anything higher than 100%? Yes. See, yes. I have been exposed to the.
The good life.
Let me not say the good life.
I don't
I've been
understand.
exposed to the benefits of having basic amenities like there. Like you pay for something and you get it.
Yeah.
Like there's constant
$30
light,
are
there's
going to
constant
work.
water, there's Wi-Fi, like everything. For lack of a better word, when I say everything works, not like everything works, but
But
like
like the main
the
things
system
that
works.
to work
Yeah,
are working.
yeah. The system works.
The main things for livelihood.
Going back to Nigeria
Kachi, let me pause
is
you
going
there
to be a
again. Sorry.
huge shift.
How come you don't? Joke question. How come you don't have an accent?
How come you don't have an accent?
Kachi, you've been out of the country for 6
That's
years.
true. When you are here, for me,
Okay.
like
Giving us the same-
European. Up and
Okay,
down.
first, calm down. Number one, I was in Dominican Republic. They speak patois, and it's not like British English or this
So
thing.
this European
They
have
speak
been
Dominican.
shouting, Nicole.
Georgia, they speak Georgian. That's the problem language. Georgian is like the 7th or the 8th hardest language in the world. The only people who speak English are the younger guys, and those are the ones like going to university and all, and like they learn English while they're in high school and whatever. So I've not been in a place where I'm
That is
like,
not an
oh,
excuse.
super.
It's not-
Or, like, I'm so confused. Like, what do you want me to say?
Oh my
God,
god! But
so
it's been a great time.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to study for 11 years, reach out to Kachi. The king of study, and the fact
king of
that
study.
you become a doctor, but it still doesn't end there, right? Like you're
You're
still
still
Nope.
reading.
there's still more.
Yeah,
there's
you
still
do your
more.
residency.
There's a residency,
then
there's
after
fellowship,
that,
and then
so
So you write an exam,
all the
you write
best to
exam,
you
for
in all your
residency.
endeavor.
After your
But at least
residency,
you
then you
make
become an
money.
attending, yeah? If grade anatomy was
I
correct.
mean, so it depends. So some people, they just go straight from residency to like attending. They don't want to do like a fellowship. Like they don't want to sub-specialize or like sub-specialize.
okay.
So they just apply for a job and they become attendings immediately. And for some of us, we want to do sub-specialization.
People that like book, like Kachi.
a focused man, I stand.
Focus man, nice.
People that like book.
But yeah, it's been fun. Kachi, what do you have to say before you go?
I was supposed to say, you're going to ask me any last words?
Okay, no. So we do something on the on the channel, on the podcast actually. Before we go, we call it the leaders of EO, but maybe EO and guests. We'll say EO and guests this
Okay.
time around. So we just do like, oh, what's that one word? Not one word, but like, what do you want to leave our guest with before we go?
I'll guess that be our
Our
listeners.
listeners. It was that pounded yam. It has done a number on us. It was much needed, guys.
We are filming this by what 8
Oh,
o'clock
only
past
God knows
8
what time
9.
it
Yeah, it's like past 9 actually.
Wow.
Anyway, what's the word? One word or like
Not
a
one
sentence?
word,
like-
something like.
Like what would you like
This
to
just shows that
leave?
Kachi has not listened to our podcast.
So
Wow.
no, but she said a word. That's
Not
that's
even
why
one
I-
word.
Like, but more like
so it's
a,
like daily dose
I've
of
daily
never
dose of
seen
a
when they will
word.
say, Pastor, give us a word. Do you think the pastor will just say one word?
you just say
like fire.
blessings. So we chose 2 different things. Okay. If there's something I would like to leave with people is,
Don't give up.
No, I'm not going to say don't give up. Do I look like
11 years.
do I look like aspire to perspire? I just think for me, everything, the greatest wealth you can have in life is people. My dad told me this, and I always the greatest wealth you can have
Mr.
in life is
Yangwa,
people.
thank you.
Mr.
It's not
Yangwa.
come from that shit.
But I learned from him, so
Oh shit.
thank you for that.
Nice.
What was yours?
So mine is what I just said earlier. It's like, if you want something, like, put it out there. Tell people about it. If you're looking for something, if you're looking for a particular project, if you just started something, like you just started a business or something, like just tell people, oh, I do this now. I'd like just be seeing it and I've been seeing that this thing come up in a couple of places. Like, just start pushing out there. I do this. You just never know. People, you think people are not listening to you, but somebody else will just say that thing and you just click. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
I think my own daily dose of EO and guest today is going to be basically put in the hard work, or like be disciplined in something. Even if you are in a position right now where you're not passionate about what you're doing, or you just find yourself somewhere that you're thinking maybe this is not it for you, have something where people can say, oh, I know that girl or I know that guy and I can vouch for him or her concerning something. Like, don't just allow. And I think, just sorry because I'm saying this like now and I'm cutting it up, but I remember when I think I started working and I was a little bit angry where I was working. And I was like, I'm just going to, because my plan then was that, okay, I'll just do this thing for like 1 year and go for masters. So I was like, so you know when you're working and you're like, you're not putting your heart into it. And initially I was like, that this is not the me I know. Because I'm not the kind of person that will go somewhere and you will see
Flop.
me with, you get. So I was like, even if I know I'm going for masters, maybe 1 year or 2 years time, and I'm just doing this just to pass the time, I might as well do it and put my best foot forward, right? So that's just something I would say, like, as my own daily dose, like, whatever it is that you find yourself doing, do it well.
Yeah.
Basically. So our daily dose of EO, whatever you find yourself doing, do it well. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and voice out what you want. And the greatest wealth that you have is people. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming.
Thank you
for
Kachi.
listening to today's episode. Kachi, thank you for being our guest. Kachi is also a singer. Kachi, sing for us before they go. Let them hear your sonorous voice.
So don't forget to subscribe, like, listen,
Kachi,
run it up.
Sing it in a song.
Run it
What
up.
should you take all those vocal classes for? Sing it in a song.
I'm sorry, but the pounded yam that they gave me to eat is stuck in my throat, and right now I sound like a frog. But guys, honestly, it first was fun.
Share,
It was
listen.
fun. Share, like, comment.
Wait,
Leave
before
a
we end
comment.
again, sorry. How do you feel being on the podcast?
First, the fun podcast.
Wow, on this podcast. on this podcast.
The fun podcast, Mike.
Obviously.
But I think that it's so much fun, like, talking to you guys, like, on the podcast, and
Of
like,
course,
because we're
yes.
never serious.
What do you mean? We just finished telling people to be serious.
No, but we are never serious around each other. That's what I mean.
Yeah. It's always a
but
good time.
But it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
So guys, please listen, share, comment, like, tune in.
Do all the good stuff.
Tell your grandfather, tell your
Wow.
grandmother, tell your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your ex.
Don't forget to
It's
also
okay.
like.
It's okay.
Don't forget to also like.
Like,
We're on
please.
YouTube.
We want to be liked.
Spotify. We're
We're
on YouTube
everywhere.
Music, Amazon.
Just
Everywhere you can
Google
think
the
of.
name.
Girls Glasses God.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a Google name, Kachi, but okay, fine.
Oh,
Girls
Kachi,
Classes
that
God
one-
podcast.
Wait, Kachi, do you want people to like
Follow you.
somewhere or something?
No, follow Jesus. Don't follow me.
Like follow Jesus.
Oh
Yes.
my god. All right, guys. Sign
Alright.
out.
See you later.
Until we see you next time.
Adios. Bye.